Today we're going to do Rambo 3, and as you see I have it here on Blu-ray, or on DVD. I don't have the Blu-ray of Rambo 3 as of yet. I have the first and the fourth on Blu-ray, but I don't have the second or the third on DVD, or on Blu-ray. I have them on DVD. If only I could speak. I'm going to talk about this movie a little bit. It's my least favorite of the four. Now, and even in saying that, I like the movie. I was a huge fan of the movie. It's a great action movie, but that's where it kind of stops for me. If it would have been called something else, and not a Rambo movie, I think it would be one of the greatest Stallone movies ever. But seeing as how it is a Rambo movie, there's some stuff that I did and I did not like about it. Basically the premise is Colonel Trapman wants to go on a secret mission to Afghanistan. He wants Stallone to come with him. Stallone declines, basically using the, I already fought in my war kind of a thing. And so Colonel Trapman goes, of course he gets kidnapped, and then Rambo has to go in and rescue him. Colonel Trapman is, of course, under the, he was captured by the Russians, which is an interesting thing about the movie, which we'll talk about in a little bit. So Rambo has to go in basically with the help of some rebels and rescue Colonel Trapman. That's basically the plot of the movie. So the story, I think, is the biggest problem with Rambo 3. Like I said, I like the movie. There's a couple significant things that, in the movie. What I liked about the movie is I really liked the practical effects. I really liked the fight scenes. There's a really cool scene at the beginning when you first see Rambo, and he has a really cool stick fight, which I thought was pretty cool. And once again, Stallone is absolutely shredded in this movie. He looks great. I like that. I like the setting a lot. It was, it's the first Rambo movie you got to see where he wasn't in some sort of jungle. Well, jungle or woods, in the first one he was in deep woods. And in the second one he's in deep jungle. Not a tree in sight. I don't know if I saw a tree in the entire movie. Possibly at the beginning when he was in Thailand. But for the most part, you don't you don't see any trees in this movie. So it's different for a Rambo movie. And so I kind of like the desert setting. I thought that was cool. Like I said, the action was good. The explosions, were really cool. It's kind of one of the last great action movies from the late 80s, I think. And you just don't see action movies like this anymore. The things that I didn't like as much about the movie, and why I kind of say it's my least favorite, is the fact that Rambo was way too humorous in this movie. Now, I know that he wasn't cracking jokes left and right like Tango and Cash, but he was... The thing about it is when you stray so far away from the essence of Rambo and what Rambo is, the Rambo that we see in First Blood, and definitely in the fourth movie, this character that is beaten down and depressed and hardened by war. He was badass in this movie, but they really, really got away from the essence of Rambo, I felt. There was too much Colonel Trapman in this movie. Wasn't that great of an actor in this movie, personally. I didn't think he was that great. He worked in the other movies, but in the other movies, he was in small parts of the movie. He was in the first one, But this one, the jokes between him and Rambo, didn't like it. Um, yeah, I didn't like that part of the movie. Um, I didn't like the, you know, he gets shot, or he gets a piece of wood through his stomach, and he pulls it out and he puts gunpowder in it, and then he lights it and it goes right through him and cauterizes the wound. Just, I mean, come on. I mean, it's almost too much. That's why I was saying, if this wasn't a Rambo movie, which the Rambo movies, with the exception of, like, well, the second one was kind of more fantasy than reality as well. If it was a different movie besides Rambo, it might have been really good. Um, but and then later you see him walking, and you can, like, see right through his stomach. Like, you can see behind him through his stomach, and I'm like, anybody who knows anything about human anatomy know that that's not gonna happen. I I was just kind of like, oh, okay. But it is what it is. It's a solid, fun action movie. Um, like I said, the acting was not that great in it from Colonel Trapman. I didn't really like the boy running around with him. I thought he was kind of annoying and kind of just stupid, kind of. Um, yeah, I don't know. I mean, and then Rambo doing the martial arts with, how he kicked that big guy towards the end into that hole. He does that, like, spinning hook kick or spinning side kick, whatever it was. It was kind of like, Stallone, the martial artist, in a Rambo movie. Didn't like it. The best parts of the movie, I thought, was when they were in the cave, when it really felt almost like the first movie, when he was in the woods taking down the cops one by one. It kind of had that feeling to it. I liked that part. It was one of my favorite parts of the movie. Um, but the fighting with Rambo has always been close quarters and hand to hand kind of a thing, and I didn't like the whole martial arts kick he did in the movie. So I think they got away from the essence of Rambo, and Rambo, the reason the first one obviously did so well is because there's drama in it. You got to have a good story, and this really lacked story. Like I said, as a pure action movie, it's good, but there's a lot of things in it that don't feel very Rambo-ish, or very, that kind of Rambo character that, I think is who John Rambo is. That's in the first one and the fourth one. So they got away a little bit from that. I thought it was a bit over the top. Actually, I thought it was a lot over the top. And the reason I like the fourth one so much is they got back to the essence of Rambo and what makes him John Rambo, and got back to more of a realistic feel, which is, I think, the best place to keep the Rambo characters in more of a realistic environment. I understand you can take parts of every movie and be like, not entirely realistic, but this one really is out there and over the top. Like I said, still a great, solid. Just as you want to see a John Rambo movie that necessarily isn't as maybe as dark and as rough. This one would be the one, and and the second one too, which I thought was better than this. I mean, I give this movie a solid 8. I do, based on just the action and the fun of the movie. But there's an element of Rambo that's not supposed to be as fun as this. And so another thing I wanted to talk about before we go, I thought it was really interesting, too, that just a few short years after Rambo 3, which came out in 1988, we were at war with Afghanistan. And in this movie, the Afghan people are basically, allies and heroes. I just thought it was a, when you think about it, it's like, oh my God, in like 4 or 5 years, or maybe, let's see, I can't remember when Desert Storm was. It was either 91 or 92, I think. But, and now we're at war, It's funny that, the Russians were the ones slaughtering slaughtering the people, and then we're the ones slaughtering the people. No, that's not a political statement. I'm not gonna get into the political side of it. I don't do that. I have my own political views, but I'm not gonna talk about them on my channel. Um, it was, but it's just funny, and it's almost kind of haunting, kind of to think about. I guess I don't know. I just thought it was really weird, and it's probably one of the last movies you ever saw made in the U.S. that had um, the Afghan people as our friends and allies. But I wanted to throw that in there because I thought that was kind of important. I also wanted to say that the movie was directed by Peter McDonald, and he did a good job. You know, he set out to make a good action movie, and like I've said 2 or 3 times, I'm kind of starting to repeat myself now, but you know, it's a good, just action-packed movie. I mean, it's really good for just the action side of it. But like I said, I thought it lacked story and character, and a little too much trapment, and a little too much humor. And but like I said, practical effects, awesome, great explosions, great gunfights, a great stick fight at the beginning with Stallone. Of course, Sylvester Stallone was one of the writers in this movie as well. So he did a good job in writing it. But I'm glad that they made a fourth, because it brought us back to the essence of Rambo. So watch that review, Rambo from 2008. I guess that's about it. I may get the DVD or the Blu-ray of this, because all I do is have this on DVD eventually here. I'd like to see how it cleaned up and stuff like that, but it looks good on this Ultimate Edition on DVD. And until the next Stallone review, I'll be waiting for you right here.